Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Really excited to be joined by my co-host, Kathleen Bradley. How are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you. So glad to be here. Something very special today.
Yes, we do.
I can relate to.
Sure. Well, I hope everybody can. So a delight to have you with us. Stacey McBride-Irby, if I understand correctly, you're one of the early designers of the Black Barbie. And no, not the first, but you were hired to be on a team with Mattel that does this. And I think it's such an important expression, not only of us, but certainly every young girl and even some boys can relate to dolls. Just talk to us about just joining the team and what that process was like, because we need to constantly think of ourselves outside of a box, literally.
So as a little girl, I loved playing with Barbie. Barbie was my dream fantasy. She had the dream house, the sports car. Yes, she had everything. So me as a creative, I used to like drawing fashions and designing her clothes. So when I got to be about 13 years old, I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little too old to be playing with playing with Barbie still. So that's when I went to the library and started learning about fashion designing. And at the time, my grandmother knew about it, and she's like, okay, well, I work in the garment district. There's not many people that look like us that design. And I'm like, well, this is what I want to do. So I'm just going to move forward. My dad encouraged me, and he saved a newspaper article or found a newspaper article of the first Black Barbie designer. I saved that article, was motivated by it. But then again, when I was looking for a job, I didn't really think about being a Barbie designer. I'm like, fashion design, but Barbie is the first iconic doll that you can design for. I cold called Kitty Black Perkins, the first Black Barbie designer. She didn't answer my call.
Right. So, welcome to Hollywood.
But I left her a message, and then maybe about a month later, I called back, and she answered the phone, and she's like, are you the designer that called me? I'm actually looking for an assistant. So timing is everything, and persistence is everything. So I ended up having a interview with her, took my portfolio, and I had the newspaper article in that portfolio. And that kind of, she saw that. So that kind of had me stand out. And then I had to go home and design a fashion. So I purchased a Barbie doll, design a fashion. And I remember it was a red jumpsuit. She was into jumpsuits, so that helped as well. Right. And I really like jumpsuits too, so we had that in common, and she basically paved the way for me. I learned everything that I needed to know about doll design on the job with her, because that's a totally different experience than fashion designing.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to keep hearing the story, because once you did that, obviously it led to being more creative and thinking outside the box, and how you can design your own special little Barbie.
Right. That is correct. So while I was working with her, learned everything I needed to learn from toy design from her. So toy design is basically what you see in a commercial. So it has to tell a story, even if it's not commercialized. So if you look at for example, the Barbie, the baby doctor Barbie. Right. So if you look at her, you can see the whole story within that package. So sometimes we would have to have a feature. We would work with engineers. So if you push a button on the back, she would rock the baby. So little things like that, and, price points. So, that was the I Can Be career doll that I'm
Let me ask you this. How far off, or, I mean, I've seen before little dolls that resemble a Barbie doll, but obviously they have the patent and they have had it. And some people try to make a variation of the Barbie doll.
Yes.
How did you ever think to do that, to go out and put your own brand on the doll?
Good point. That's what I did. So when I was at Mattel, I created a line of dolls called Sew in Style, featured right there, where the big sister mentored her little sister. and it was very important that they put the Barbie branding on.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yes.
That's what I was wondering, why I still had to have it on there. So you have to stay within that, and so kind of by their, what's the word I'm looking for? Franchise.
Yes. So it was important to have a Black Barbie line that represented us in our community. So when I branched off from Mattel, I created my own line of dolls. A lot of people call fashion dolls, which is our standard 11.5-inch doll, is a fashion doll, almost like Kleenex. Mm-hmm. There's boxes of tissue, but we always refer to it as Kleenex.
Right. Uh-huh.
So this is my version of my Barbie. This is my Cynthia Bailey doll.
Oh. Okay, can I see that?
Yes, sure. You can hold on. You want to grab her?
I know Cynthia, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
sure they see that really up close and good. But I used to do on The Price is Right now. Okay, here we go. Wow.
Yeah, so Cynthia definitely wanted us to feature her afro. Yeah. And I love that.
I love it.
And for those who don't know, tell us who Cynthia Bailey is.
Cynthia Bailey, Housewives of Atlanta. And she's a business owner, supermodel.
Oh, super. Absolutely. The Cynthia Bailey collector's doll.
Yes.
And then I know you can't give all the secrets away, but what are some of those elements that you're trying to incorporate or that you felt would help uplift the community?
I wanted, first of all, my priority is bringing positive images in our community. We have too many, things out there that I don't want them to focus on. Okay. So I had, at the time, my daughter was a 6-year-old. So I wanted something positive for her. So that's why I focused as far as the sewing style, whether the big sister mentored her little sister. And that held true to what I wanted to do. So with me creating these dolls, I look like girls in my community. I was able to motivate them. You can follow your dreams, and because I'm living my dream today.
Absolutely. And I know you've done a Michelle Obama doll and also AKAs and some other special lines. What are the challenges that you feel you encountered, and how did you overcome some of those?
Some of the challenges, I guess at Mattel, because it is Barbie, there were so many, like every year it has to be bigger and better than the previous year. So we would have to present to executives, present to our marketing team, present to kids. So if kids didn't like it, we have to start from scratch. Right. So that was a challenge. But I guess with my story and my passion, I didn't have as many challenges. But on the other hand, it was tough because it was Barbie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And tell us one of those stories where, you have to give names, but where you really felt like this wasn't going to fly through, or you were literally stitching things together last second in terms of maybe some part of the presentation, maybe not the design, and you were able to sort of seize the day.
Well, I can say not necessarily under myself, but when I was learning under Kitty Black Perkins, she was tough because she knew everything had to be almost perfect because there was not many of us there. So we would work till midnight to get things done because we had to present to the executives. We called it a work in progress meeting. We would present everything, and then sometimes we would have to start over and spend the next night working until midnight again. Right. Yeah. So, but we overcame, and she had so many dolls in the line. Absolutely. That made a lot of money for Mattel.
Oh, that's wonderful. I see this one. Now this though just says petite girls. No Mattel, no Barbie or Mattel is on here at all.
Yeah, so that was when I left Mattel. Right. I took a leap of faith. I was there for 15 years at Mattel. Right. I had 2 children, 20 months apart. So they were approaching middle school, and with the peer pressure, I'm like, okay, I need to be there for them. I don't want to fail at parenting. I mean, so I basically gave up my dream job to be there with my family. So, yeah, there was no work-life balance. So I was doing mentoring because of the Sew and Style line. And one of the founders of my new company, he said, what is your dream? What do you want to do? And I said, I wanted to create a line of dolls that were more multicultural versus focusing on the African-American community. And that's when I created the Pretty Girl line of dolls. And that's featuring Cynthia Bailey. So the Pretty Girl doll stands for positive, respectful, enthusiastic, truthful, talented, inspiring, and excellent. So we spelled it Prettie.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how far away, like for the patent and for you just to go out and do your own line for the duplication of the real Barbie?
It didn't need a patent because people create dolls all the time.
Okay.
So it has to be, somewhat different. So you only have to change a certain percentage.
Exactly. That's what I really was trying to get to before, but I understand that certain percentage of the hands, the size of the weight, and how the knees bend or don't bend or something, as long as it's not just the same. But do they make all of theirs exactly the same pretty much except for the color, the hair, and all that? Yeah,
so they have different head sculpts as well. So when I created the first Centennial doll for the AKA, I used one of the existing sculpts that Mattel had, but she was just so beautiful. So that's when I was inspired to use the same sculpt for the Sew and Style dolls.
And tell us about the Netflix documentary and how that all came to be, Black Barbie.
So the Netflix documentary. So while I was at Mattel, I worked with Eula May Miles, and her niece was the director of the film, the documentary, and she was inspired by her auntie, and I worked with her auntie.
Right.
And I was hired by the first Black Barbie designer, Kitty Black Perkins. So we all played an important role in the African-American world of Mattel. So that's kind of how it came out, about the director reached out to me. And
so the Netflix is done, the documentary?
The documentary is done on Netflix, came out on Juneteenth, and it featured myself, Eula Miles, and Kitty Black Perkins.
So we can go in and watch that.
Yes, you can.
I can't wait to see it.
And I'm already getting people saying, like, that was so inspiring.
Wonderful.
Yes, so because Beulah passed the baton to Kitty, and Kitty passed the baton to myself.
And on that note, what words of advice would you give for a young designer, male or female, in trying to get into this business, whatever they may want to do in terms of just some of the challenges, but also the tenacity that they may need?
I feel like there are challenges because I feel like we need someone in-house fighting for us to bring us in. So that's one of the challenges. So grateful that I had Kitty Black Perkins, but I also feel like you need to be an expert at what you do so you can compete with, whoever else is.
Gain all the knowledge you can get because it's so competitive out here, and just know the layout, like what it takes, like an attorney, a business plan, a partner, financing, all of that. It takes everything that you really ever want to do to even put any kind of product out there nowadays.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
And Barbie, who do you know that works for Barbie?
Right.
So it's important to network as well.
Absolutely.
That's true, right.
Yeah.
Tell us where we can find you.
You can find me McIrby.com. So that's my website. And then you can also find me on Instagram at Stacey McIrby, StaceymcIrby.
Good. So we look forward to more products, and also this story. It's so inspirational. So appreciate you coming out and sharing, and the colors are just popping.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
And if you guys want to do a Miss Parker Barbie doll, let me know.
She's giving the rights away for a low price of 7 figures.
Cynthia, we can do
I love that.
Thanks so much. How delightful.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Much continued success.
Yeah.
Thank you.